Tell you what, that's what we were coming for. Managing your doe population, that's very important. You want to take the biggest of the does if possible. Don't shoot your young deer, because a lot of times, depending on the time of year and where you're hunting, some of the small deer could be bucks that don't have antlers as of yet. So make sure you shoot the big mature does, and speak with your landowners as well as your biologist in your areas to find out how many does you can comfortably take off the property to help keep the herd in balance. You know, it's a very important part of today's conservation efforts to manage your doe herds properly. I tell you, I think I'm going to let her lay. We've still got plenty of daylight left, and I've seen it happen time and time again that, you know, and I've heard people talk about they think the hunt is over after they make a shot, whether they miss or they take a deer. And by far, that is not the case. I've seen it happen too many times where I've taken a deer and not 5-10 minutes later, another deer and another deer and another deer show up. In fact, sometimes they'll see the downed deer, and curiosity, whether it be scent or curiosity, will take them close. In fact, I've heard of guys taking as many as 1 or 2 nice bucks after they've shot a doe or a smaller buck. So if you've got daylight left and you're not in a hurry, sit, be patient, because there could be other deer that are going to come and try and feed in that same area that might be further back in the woods that don't know where that shot came from. So try that next time you're out, and possibly you can take 2 deer in one sitting. All right, let's get my mask back on and get back to it. Hey, that is a lot of fun seeing deer like that. Okay, get situated here. Very, very important piece of equipment, your mask. If you're going to ground hunt like I'm doing, you need gloves, and you definitely need a mask, because you might think I'm sitting right out in the open, which in many ways I am, but I'm blocking the silhouette of my body real well with this big oak tree. And as long as I sit still and don't make any fast movements with my hand, you'll be amazed at how close some deer will get to you while sitting on the ground, especially if your scent is right. All right. Whew. I tell you, what an exciting hunt. I mainly came to take a couple of does. The landowner here says he's got a little more doe population than he'd like, and invited me to come out and take some does, but he said if you see some bucks, you're welcome to them as well. He's seen a good buck in this area and a couple of younger deer, but he feels like his population is a little much in this particular parcel. So he invited me to take some, and I tell you, that was a lot of fun. I got to see so many deer this morning. I got to see bucks chasing does playing, feeding. I mean, I tell you, when you do your homework, you know, what happened here is once he invited me out, went around looking for all the sign I could find, looking for tracks as well as trails, as well as rubs, scrapes, so forth, the common sign we all look for when deer hunting. But one of the things I found was on the edge of this field, there's a big swamp out in front of me, and on the edge of this field is a couple of these big oaks. In fact, I'm sitting under one of them, as you can tell, and the oaks are dropping acorns like crazy. And we all know how important a food source is, especially in the fall, right before winter sets on. They're feeding up heavy, and they're going to hit the active trees on a regular basis at least a couple of times a day. So with that in mind, I decided to get out here under the trees, which if you step off away from me, you can see that I'm pretty well concealed at a distance. Now up close, it's pretty amazing, but as long as you sit still, you wear your face mask, your gloves, a good camouflage pattern, you can enjoy success from ground hunting. I do it out of blinds. I enjoy it hunting out of tree stands and so forth. And I tell you, there are a lot of applications for hunting off the ground as long as you can sit still. That's the key. You know, color, deer for the most part don't see color too well, but they will definitely see movement at a long time. I tell you, that was so exciting. And my cameraman, he pointed out, he saw at another angle that I couldn't see, he saw a big buck, or a pretty good big buck, that was chasing does, and he said he got some good shots of them, but I couldn't see them because it was behind some bigger trees. In fact, looking out around me, you can see that there are a lot of big trees, and it's easy for a deer's body to be blocked by one of these big trees. I tell you though, this is something you ought to give a try, and that is ground blind hunting, or just hunting from the ground. It's an awful lot of fun. It's kind of neat to get eye level with them, and I tell you, be amazed if you have the wind in your favor, which is the most important thing. See, I don't know if you can see my breath, but it's going from left to right. I'm mainly hunting, looking at the edge of the swamp, and my scent is going back behind me, so a perfect situation when it comes to the scent standpoint. Deer never knew I was here, and I got to watch an awful lot of fun. Took that nice doe to start with, waited a little while, and I was pretty amazed the deer came right back. You know, that's another good point. A lot of you, especially if you're first-time hunters, you think about, you take your shot, maybe take an animal, or miss for that matter, and you think your hunt is over. Well, there's a prime example. I took the doe, she was down, waited 5 or 6 minutes, and all of a sudden, another doe comes out. Then that buck comes out and starts running the doe, and I tell you, I watched him for a good long time, enjoying just watching him trail the doe and them interacting, and then finally got a well-placed shot at less than about 75 yards.